Look at this map. 20% of the world's oil flow via this 21-mile wide strait. This strait is part of Islamic Republic of Iran, a country that has survived centuries of colonial ambitions, CIA operations, and regional rivalries. In the modern chessboard of global dominance, this is the story of Iran.
برنامه هم اینه که بلکه بتونن ملت ایران رو با خودشون همراه کنن.
To understand about Iran in modern context, we have to go back about 5,000 years back. The story begins around 3,200 BCE in what we now call Iran. The region was home to sophisticated civilizations long before it became Persia, a historical name for the modern-day Iran. In 550 BCE, a boy shepherd rose to power in Persia and founded the Achaemenid Empire, the first Persian Empire. The boy was named Cyrus the Great, a son of shepherd, who put Iran on the map of the world for the first time. Contrary to its modern image, ancient Iran was quite progressive. Cyrus created the world's first charter of human rights, called Cyrus Cylinder. Cyrus Cylinder was like an ancient executive order or a mission statement. It's a clay barrel about the size of a football with writing all over it. Discovered in modern-day Iraq in 1879, it dates back to 539 BCE when Cyrus conquered Babylon. Here's what it meant. I, Cyrus, just conquered your city. But instead of doing what most conquerors do, like killing everyone and stealing everything, here's what's going to happen. Keep your religion. I don't care what god you pray to. Stay in your homes. Nobody's kicking you out. Keep your customs and way of life. If someone is forcing you to work for free, stop that now. If someone took your stuff, you're getting it back. You can move around freely in the empire. Your temples and holy places will be protected. At its peak, it was the largest empire the world had ever seen, stretching from Egypt to India. With a total 44% of global population, around 80% of known gold sources of the ancient world, and a standardized currency, called darik, used across 40-plus nations. This was the peak of Iran's influence on the world. But this golden age wouldn't last forever. In fact, a force from the Arabian desert would soon reshape Persia's destiny in ways no one could have imagined. Let's fast forward to 651 CE, a pivotal moment when Persia, as it was known, encountered the Arab conquests. The Arab forces, fueled by the rapid expansion of Islam, brought a new religion to Persia, Islam. The Sasanian Empire was the last pre-Islamic Iranian empire. It fell to the Rashidun Caliphate during the early Muslim conquests, which marked the beginning of a monumental societal shift by initiating the Islamization of Iran. As part of the early Muslim conquests, which had begun under Muhammad in 622, it led to the fall of the Sasanian Empire and the eventual decline of Zoroastrianism, which had been predominant throughout Persia as the nation's official religion. The persecution of Zoroastrians by the early Muslims during and after this conflict prompted many of them to flee eastward to India, where they were granted refuge by various kings. This was a cultural turning point for the Persian people, who had, until then, followed Zoroastrianism as their primary faith. However, the adoption of Islam in Persia came with a unique twist that would have profound effects not only on Persian culture, but also on the entire Middle East. While the majority of Islamic regions aligned with Sunni Islam, Persia gravitated toward Shia Islam, carving a distinct religious identity. This choice set Persia, later Iran, apart from many of its neighbors, who followed Sunni traditions. This religious divergence was far more than a difference in faith. It became a driving force behind many political alliances, conflicts, and cultural movements in the Middle East. This religious distinction would shape Middle Eastern politics for centuries to come. Against this backdrop of centuries-old distinctions, Iran was ready for a modernizing force. The 20th century brought dramatic changes and led to the formation of modern Iran. Reza Shah Pahlavi, the founder of the Pahlavi dynasty. Born to a poor family in northern Iran, Reza Shah Pahlavi began his journey as a soldier. His rapid rise in the military, thanks to his resilience and strategic mind, laid the foundation for his later role as a key figure in Iranian politics. Reza Shah Pahlavi stepped in with a bold vision. He embarked on a comprehensive modernization program after he ascended to the throne in 1925. His reforms were aimed at transforming Iran into a modern, secular, and westernized country. He centralized power, modernized the legal and educational systems, and banned the Islamic veil for women, promoting public participation and nationalism. He also introduced industrialization, creating Iran's first industries and railways. In his effort to westernize Iran by force, Reza Shah faced resistance from many who felt their culture and values were under threat. This tension between modernization and tradition set the stage for future unrest. By the early 1950s, these tensions were still simmering when a pivotal event changed Iran's trajectory. Mohammad Mossadegh, the democratically elected prime minister, came to power in 1951 with a mission to reduce foreign influence over Iran's resources. His nationalization of the oil industry threatened Western interests, leading the CIA and British intelligence, MI6, to orchestrate a coup in 1953 under Operation Ajax. This intervention ousted Mossadegh and reinstalled the pro-Western Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. Mohammad Reza was the eldest son of Reza Shah Pahlavi, about whom we have discussed earlier. With US assistance, Mohammad Reza carried out a national development program called the White Revolution that included construction of an expanded road, rail, and air network, a number of dam and irrigation projects, the eradication of diseases such as malaria, the encouragement and support of industrial growth, and land reform. The White Revolution solidified domestic support for the Shah, but he faced continuing political criticism from those who believed that westernization is against the Islamic fundamentals. Apart from that, his autocratic rule, corruption in his government, the unequal distribution of oil wealth, forced westernization, led to the widespread dissatisfaction among the lower classes, Shia clergy, bazaar merchants, and students. This widespread dissatisfaction led to the growth of support for Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, a Shia religious leader living in exile in Paris. We've seen the Shah's reign reach its critical point. But what happens when a religious leader in exile becomes the most powerful man in Iran? Join me in part 2 to understand how Ayatollah Khomeini transformed a 2,500-year-old monarchy into an Islamic republic in just a matter of months.